Okay. Hello, 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 hello. How are you doing? Just give me a second to get everything set up from YouTube and Instagram. I am streaming live. If this is the first time you've been in one of my live streams, welcome. My name is Brill, and what I do simply is I create pedestal wives. Today we're going to talk about why buy the cow when the milk is free. It is an idiom that we've heard over and over. It has been passed down from my grandmother, from her mother, from her mother, and so on. We've heard this over and over and over that it has become a common phrase within certain communities. Well, we ain't gonna say certain communities because most communities have heard this idiom. Most communities have heard that you cannot give away the milk for free and expect a man to buy the cow. We're going to talk about today why that matters and why it doesn't matter. So let's talk about it. First of all, let me make sure I have YouTube up so I can see everybody's comments. Hi, Pedestal Wives. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Remember, I know every username and profile who's a part of the Pedestal Wife community. Hello, ladies. Thank you for your support. Appreciate you being in the building. But let's talk about why it is important for us to realize that the idiom that was passed down from our mother, from her mother, no longer works in this climate, no longer works in this dating arena. And not because that the advice isn't sound, because it absolutely is. It absolutely is. It's just that a lot of women are not doing it correctly. So when you decide not to give this man any milk, not to give this man any of those cookies, not to open up the cookie jar for him to put his hand in there, you're not doing anything other than sitting over there like, oh, don't touch me, don't speak to me, I'm not going to give you any. All of that is the reason why you probably need to let that milk continue to stay where it's at and continue to let those cookies stay in the cookie jar, because of the fact that just withholding sex and thinking that you're gonna exchange sex for marriage is no longer the only thing that you have to do. You have to do a little bit more. And the reason for that is because let's first talk about where it works at. Okay, before I start talking about where it doesn't work at and what you need to do in order to implement holding on to the milk, holding on to the cookies, we're going to talk about where it works at, because there are some spaces that it does work in, and it works in certain cultures. If you're still a part of a culture where you can exchange, your man has to actually have a dowry, a dowry. If your man has to have a dowry in your culture, then yes, you can exchange sex for marriage. It still works in that culture. If you're in certain communities, because certain communities still operate in such, in the communities I'm talking about, if you're in a community where it's like generational marriages, everybody's married, everybody only has kids within a marriage, they have certain rules surrounding that specific community, then this may work. Then you can continue to hold on to the milk and keep the cookies in the cookie jar. But if you are not, there's certain things that you need to implement in order to make sure that you can move forward. Now, I want you to remember this term. If you don't remember anything else from this live, remember this term: law of social exchange. Law of social exchange is something that most high value people operate in. This means no relationship can stay around too long without balance. That's all it means. Most high value people operate among law of social exchange. And the reason I want you to remember this, because when I start going down the reasons and the things that are keeping women, from going to that next step, once they stop giving out the milk and stop opening up the cookie jar. Y'all know what the cookie jar is. You know what the milk is. I don't have to start seeing. I don't want my video flagged, but you know what it is. So once women realize, okay, I gotta stop giving the milk away for free, I gotta stop opening up the cookie jar to everybody, and they like, I want to get married. That is my goal now. There's other things that come into play other than just holding on to that milk and making sure that no one gets into the cookie jar. You need to actually implement these things, and you need to remember the law of social exchange, because no relationship can continue without balance for too long. And most high value people operate within that. which means most high value people operate that you cannot be in a relationship and not receive something. Every relationship requires value. Remember, value complements value. So if you're in a relationship, you can't going without in the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna get nothing for nothing. I can give nothing, get and receive everything. You have to remember the law of social exchange. No relationship can continue without balance for too long. So remember that continuing as we go down this video. One of the reasons why some women can stop giving the milk out for free, they can definitely hold on to the cookies in the cookie jar and still never get a ring, is because you all want to get in relationships and give nothing and get everything. You all want to operate in relationships without value. When you operate in a relationship without value, remember, value has to be in every relationship. It has to be within friendships, has to be in relationship with your man. You have to have value within the relationship. The value has to complement the value. A person that feels as though they've been taken advantage of will not be happy in that relationship and will not stay in that relationship for long. This is the reason the law of social exchange is very important, because a relationship cannot continue when it is out of balance for too long. So that is the reason why some women, it doesn't matter if you withhold the milk, it doesn't matter if you withhold the cookies, if there's no value. If you have value and he is not recognized the value that you bring, it doesn't matter if you sit back and like, oh, I'm not giving it up. Oh, I'm gonna wait 90 days. Oh, I'm not gonna give anything to him. I'm not gonna kiss him, not gonna touch him. It doesn't matter, sis, because he doesn't recognize the value that you're bringing anyway. And the value that you're having, it doesn't seem to be a compliment to what he's bringing, so he's not caring. So you can continue to hold on to that milk, and you can continue to hold on to the cookies in that jar, because it will not matter. He's not going to want to move forward. Another thing is, I think women tend to forget that men have to be wanted. They have to feel like they are wanted. They have to feel like there's some type of chemistry within a relationship. So when you go about rejecting men in certain ways, you actually kill that chemistry. You kill the want or the desire for him to actually pursue that relationship further. So it wouldn't matter if you decide to withhold the milk or keep the cookies in the cookie jar. He's not going to be interested anyway. A lot of you are rejecting him in the wrong way. And I know. Some of you are like, it shouldn't matter. I should be able to say no in so many different languages, and that should be okay. But you have to, let me go ahead and give you a rule of thumb that I was taught from a woman long time ago, before I got married, before I realized about hypergamy and all of these beautiful terms that y'all have on social media. A wise woman once taught me, she taught me this. She said that if you reject a man in a certain manner, the good men will be shy and be like, oh, okay, well, she doesn't want me. The players will take it as a challenge, and they will take it as a way to get around your no to make it a yes. That is a rule of thumb that I was taught from an older woman a long time ago. If you know, I've always surrounded myself with a bunch of elders, people who know more than I do. Okay. So since I've always done that, that's one of the things she taught me. She taught me, if you reject a man in the most despicable way you can think of, and this is the way you all do it sometimes, you be like, oh, you push him off of him, you're like, stay away from me. You give him a cross sign, or, oh, I am not ever having sex until marriage. You put all of that on the table, and he starts to feel, maybe he might stay around a little bit longer because you just said you're not ready, or even saying not ready. Even saying not ready is okay, as long as it's said in a way where he'll feel like you still want him. You can still say, well, I'm not ready yet. As long as you say it in a way that he can still feel like you're attracted to him. And the way that you reject him, it matters. So if you're pushing him away, if you're giving him that cross sign, tell him, oh, stay back, Satan. Stay back with you and your penis and your dick and whatever you have between your legs, because it's not coming over here. If you're doing all of that and you think he's still going to be attracted to you, maybe he might hang on for a little while. Just maybe. Maybe he might hang on just for a little bit longer, just to see what it's all about. But remember this rule of thumb. The good men that you reject, in the manner that you reject him in, they will get a little embarrassed, get a little shy, and move on. They'll take your word at value, at face value. So you say you don't want them, you say you don't want to have sex, you say you're not attracted, you say this is not what this is about. It's not about sex. Like, baby girl, what is it about? What is it about? What is it about? What is it about? Okay? You do all of that and you're pushing him away. Just keep it as a rule of thumb. The good guys, and I know some of you are like, oh, no, no, no. He's going to fight for my honor. Baby, high value people understand and take your word at face value. Don't you want to go operate through life where when you say something, it is what it is? That is how high value people work. They don't sit here and think, oh, well, they didn't say that. That ain't what it is. Remember, I teach women also to, when he says something, you take him at face value. So you're going to do the same. And that's how men operate. Men going to hear, I don't want you. I'm not attracted to you. You move on. The good guys are going to hear that. The players are going to hear, okay, she said no, but I've been down this road before. This is my game. I played this with the best of them. And the players are going to be like, let me go ahead and test this out. Let's see how long she can hold out. We're going to make a game of it. And that advice that an elder gave me has been one of the best advice that I have ever given. And so you just got it for free. You just got it for free. So men have to want to feel wanted. So pay attention to how you reject. Pay attention to what you say when he makes that initial move. Stop walking around thinking a man shouldn't make a move. In what universe do you all live in that you think a man isn't going to make a move on a beautiful woman? What universe you think that he is not going to shoot his shot? You want a man that's going to shoot his shot? He's going to shoot his shot. Just do not be surprised when he fall back. Don't be surprised when he fall back, when you reject him in a certain way that tells him he is not wanted, you do not desire him, there's no chemistry. Remember, good guys will fall back because they're going to take your word for it. Players are going to test the waters. They want to see, are you really about this life? Are you really going to stand on this? No. Because they've been in the game. They know the game. And they love the game. They get a high of being in the game. So when you say no, you think you're doing something big. You think you're doing something big with pushing them away and, oh, stay back, Satan. Your parts and my parts will never see the light of day. You're not doing anything, sis. So just go ahead, hold on to that milk, keep those cookies. Let those cookies continue to stay in that jar. Let them get a little crumbly. Let them get a little soft. Let them lose taste, but let them stay where they are. Because just withholding sex and thinking you're going to change sex for marriage is not a thing unless you're in a certain culture or a certain community. It just doesn't work that way anymore. So what do you have to do? What do you have to do? Instead of reject, learn how to seduce. Some of you all don't want to learn simple seduction. This is the reason why I teach that in my Make Him Earn You course. You need to learn how to seduce. If you understand, it's not about the time that you can keep your parts and his parts from meeting. It's not about the time that you can keep the milk from, leaving or the jar from being open. It's not about that time. It really is about conversation. It's about the time. It's about the chemistry. It's about the humor. It's about getting him in the mindset of us versus the world. When you can do that, then you're cooking. You're cooking, sis. You're going to be able to get further. That's when you can see a ring on the horizon. But if you're not learning how to seduce, you're not learning how to reject, you're not learning that you have to bring value and he has to see that value. If he sees no value, he sees sex. If he sees sex, there's not going to be a ring anyway. So you don't need to worry about milk, cookies, keeping anything, holding anything, making sure your parts and his part don't meet on inner side, because guess what? It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. So learning how to do simple seduction. Even when a man is coming in to kiss you, there's a way to handle that. You don't be sitting here moving your head because he's coming in to kiss you. You want him to believe, even if you're not there yet, you want him to believe there's some type of chemistry, there's some kind of sparks, that you're feeling what he's feeling. And you can't do that if as soon as he comes in for a kiss, you're like, speak to the hand, kiss the hand, kiss the hand, and pushing him off you like like he is Satan or something. You want to, if he's coming in for that kiss, and you're like, I'm not ready for this right now. Touch the lips, rub a little bit. You're so tempting. Like, yes, those lips, and just rub them a second. Not too much, pull them away. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Seduction, seduce. That is how you keep a man at bay. This is the reason why just holding on to the milk and just holding on to the cookies is not good enough anymore. You're no longer in the time. You're exchanging sex for marriage. You're no longer in a place where you can bargain sex for marriage. Usually back in those times, not only was it a different era, it was a different time. It was a different way that families communicate, communities, and men and women handled each other in the first place. So since you know for facts that that is not it anymore, this is how you keep him on the edge of his seat. You learn how to seduce. You learn how to keep those fires burning. You learn how to be a great conversationalist. Like, where do we get so far left that women don't know how to have a conversation with a man? That you are so up in your arms about your milk and the cookies in the jar that you're not even having a decent conversation and getting to know him. I'm just going to tell you right now, men desire emotional connections just like you do. They're human. If you stop looking at men as they're sex deprived animals that just want to get it and hit it and quit it, and start looking at them as though they're human, and every man is different, and you have to operate differently with each man. Every man, there's no full blueprint for men. There is none. If someone has a book, if someone has written a blueprint, baby, what you doing? I'm a high value woman. I love information. Send it my way. Send it my way. I'll take it. I'll take advantage of it, because high value women are always trying to learn more and improve their lives. So if you have a blueprint, you actually have a book somewhere over there in hell somewhere, or heaven, or in between, where is that? Sis, what you doing? Why are you not sharing like you're supposed to? Why are you not sharing the info where the tea at? Because you need to send it the right way. Because it doesn't matter if I'm happily married, I will still sit down and buy a course, get with a mentor, get a coach, because I believe high-value women should never stop learning. They should always be trying to learn more, engage with other people, get more information. So if there's a book that's written about how men operate on all the same levels, something I can implement every single day, baby girl, what are you doing? Send it my way. Send it my way. Send it here. Send it here. I have some women on my team. The pedestal wives will love to get a hold of that book. Okay. Another thing that I have found that you might well go ahead and let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and say this too, because I know some men are not going to like this. Some men are not going to like this, but I'm just going to be honest. Okay, y'all listen up. Let me go ahead and say this right quick. I'm just going to say this right quick. I don't know what kind of mood I'm in. I guess I'm in a mood of I don't care kind of mood, because my husband went on a business trip yesterday, so I'm in a mood of I didn't get enough sleep. I'm just on TM today. But another reason why the milk in the cookie jar doesn't work on men with options, but it does work on men that are average. Go ahead. Average men, I know you might be a little upset with me. I'm sorry. I have to actually just be honest. I have to be honest. Unfortunately, the more options that a man have, the least likely holding on to the milk in the cookies are gonna keep him interested. This is the reason why seducing, learning that men are not the same. You cannot treat John like Jim, and you can't treat Sam like Joshua. That is not going to work. There is no blueprint. There's no book written about men that's going to apply to all men. So you need to get that out of your head. Another thing that I found is that the more options that he has, this is very important. The more options that he has, you need to keep that in mind, because of the fact that the more options that he has, it doesn't matter about the milk or the cookies. It doesn't matter about the milk or the cookies. Because when it comes down to women and this whole era of fake femininity and fake feminine energy, because it is out there. Women are absolutely thinking, oh, if I put on a dress and I look put on heels and I am put together, that means or equal feminine energy or femininity. When men who have options, they have learned to read body language and energy. They're actually better at the energy piece versus women. And since they have learned this because they've been in business deals where they had to actually watch the body language of a competitor. They've been in places where they're trying to make a decision and they had to watch their crew or watch their group and watch the energy that's being put out. So they recognize this before women do. And so when women sit here and I am not going to be feminine unless he is masculine, you might as well hold on to that milk. That's the point. You might as well hold on to your milk and your cookies. Those cookies are gonna get a little dry, they're gonna get a little crumbly, they need to stay in the jar. Because the top tier men that some of you are looking for, they can recognize fake femininity. You can't fool them by putting on a dress and heels. Okay? Fake femininity is a real thing, it is really out there, and you just need to hold on to your milk, hold on to your cookies, because they're gonna stay in that jar. Because hot men who absolutely have something to lose or have options, they recognize that a mile away. They've had to deal with energy. They absolutely understand energy a whole lot better than women do. I've learned. So let me get Instagram. I'm trying to get Instagram back on because it did disconnect. Give me a second, y'all. We're gonna get the Instagram back on. But it's important that you realize that just withholding the milk, just keeping the cookies in the cooking jar, it's not enough. In this time and age, men are honestly, I'm going to go ahead. The way the dating market is right now in this moment, they are more women than men, which in turn make it like a player's market. That is the issue. And since if they were, the opposite, then it would be, oh, we want to bargain. You can bargain sex for marriage. Now, at this point, you can't, because there are more women than there are men. So you cannot bargain sex for marriage right now. And like I said, the only way you can do that, if it's an average man, if it's a part of your culture, it might even be a part of your community. And the community could be like church communities. Some of them have that generational, from generation to generation of marriages, or it could be, there's different types of communities out there where it will work. But if you know for a fact that you're not a part of any type of community, you know for a fact that you are not a part of any type of culture that actually, upholds marriage into that level, then you need to have certain things in your toolbox. And that means you need to understand value. You need to understand what value you bring to a relationship, and you need to make sure you're looking for someone who matches or complements that value. You need to also realize you need to learn how to seduce. Stop running away when this man even says or mentions sex. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think you all have gotten to a certain level that if a man even mentions sex, you're tripping out. You're blowing it up. And what heterosexual man is not going to mention sex? Like, now, if he keeps mentioning it constantly, and you don't sit here and put a stop to it, you don't tell him how you feel, and he's still going on, then that's the issue. That's a problem. That's something you need to pay attention to, because that means he doesn't have control over himself. We don't like men who don't have control over themselves. But you need to keep that in mind. All men are not alike. There's no blueprint. There's no book. You cannot treat Sam like John, Jim like Joshua. It does not work. If you go into every relationship thinking I'm going to treat him like the last one, or he is like the last one, you have already lost. You might as well keep that milk and make sure those cookies stay tight in that jar so they don't get a little crumbly, they don't get soft, they don't get stale. You just let them stay in that jar. Okay? Remember, women just really do dismiss men. Y'all dismiss men and think they don't need any type of emotional connection, not realizing it is the emotions, it is the feelings that make a man desire marriage. It is the feelings, it is his feels that are activated for you that makes him want to propose to you. So his feelings do have to be a part of that, which means there has to be some type of emotional connection for him to decide, I want you to be my wife. So if you continue to operate in this, oh, men don't have no feelings, they don't need no connections, they don't need people, they just want sex, 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 and all they need is a whole bunch of behind, and that's it. Operating in that, you might as well go ahead, keep that milk, hold it, make sure that it doesn't get a little moldy, doesn't get a little stale, that it doesn't go bad. Okay, make sure those cookies stay in that cookie jar so it's not soft, it's not crumbly, and it's not stale, and it has a good taste. You just keep it there, baby. Just keep it there. Just because it's the best option for you. And realize femininity is important. The more options that a man has, realize that you need to up your game and your femininity up another level. The more money, the more options that this man has, the more that he has, you need to operate in more feminine energy, more femininity, more. Because believe me, he recognizes it. And this whole narrative that y'all have going on that I'm not going to be feminine unless he's masculine, all men around me are masculine, baby. Even the statement, even the intent behind that statement is masculine. This means you want another person to come in and dominate you, because that's what that means. That also means you're not operating in feminine energy or femininity in the first place. In a man that has options, he sees that from a mile away. So if you're that type of woman, just keep that milk. Just keep those cookies. Let them stay wherever they are. Hold the milk tight. Keep it tight. Keep it right. Keep it fresh. Keep it from flowing. Keep those cookies in the cookie jar so they don't get soft, they don't get crumbly, and they don't get stale. Just keep them to yourself, because you have to realize that these men are operating on a different level. They absolutely understand energy a whole lot better than women do. They absolutely have been in spaces, especially if they have options. They've been in spaces where they had to make a business deal, have to be able to read a person's expressions and gestures. They've been in spaces where they had employees where they had to read their expressions and gestures and the things the person said and did before they even made a business decision on them. That's the reason why keep your milk and your cookies and hide them away. If you're not willing to make sure that you bring value to a relationship, if you're not willing to make sure that you know how to seduce, you're not willing to learn, you don't want to get any more information, you know what you know everything, since you got it, keep on walking, keep that milk, keep it fresh, keep those cookies in the cookie jar, and you keep moving as though you move right now. Remember, the definition of insanity is continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over, but you keep on going, sis, you got it. Cheers to you. Remember that all men aren't alike. I'm not sure why or where this came from. Women truly do believe that men are all alike. I don't know why. I have no idea. I don't know, just because you guys screwed over by John, you think John is just going to be like Sam, going to be like everybody else behind him. And unfortunately, that is not the way this works. This is the reason why I don't even like scripts, because when you're dealing in scripts, that's saying that every script is going to work on each guy. And that's not the way it works. You have to actually pay attention to the experience, pay attention to the type of relationship you have. You have to actually pay attention to the dynamic you have. Maybe you're not operating a feminine, masculine dynamic. Maybe y'all operating in feminine dynamic. That takes a different set of talking points. That takes a different way to talk to a guy. So you need to make sure that all men are not alike. And if you have that mindset that all men are not alike, then sis, just keep that milk. Keep it from getting stale. Keep it from getting spoiled. Don't let no mold get on it. Keep those cookies in the cookie jar and you'll be just fine. But realize, I need you ladies to realize, and I know some of you all are laughing at me. You're dying laughing because I'm being straight. I'm for real. You have to realize that withholding the milk, keeping the cookies in the cookie jar is not alone anymore. It's not enough anymore. You have to have more in your toolbox. You have to be a better conversationalist. You have to understand that value complements value. You have to understand that men want to feel wanted. They want to feel desired. They want to feel those sparks. They want that chemistry in a relationship. That's super important. And they don't want to marry approved. They don't want to marry a woman they're not attracted to. But if you keep rejecting them like you reject them, you might as well keep that milk where it's at. Don't let it flow. Don't let it go. Don't let it get moldy. Just go ahead and keep those cookies in the cookie jar, because you'll be just A-okay. You'll be A-okay. but it's not going to lead to the ring. We have to realize that these are different times. People are operating in a different way. People have a different mindset. Just withholding sex is not enough anymore. You need to have more in your toolbox. You have to have value. You have to be able to bring value to him. You have to be able to look at him and say, okay, well, the way I bring encouragement, the way I cheerlead, the way I trust, this is something he's going to value because he sees it the same way I see it. So if I am willing to give and put everything on the line, put everything on the table, let him know and let him in, he values that. He values that, and that's value complementing value. And that is something that's going to bond us. That is something that's going to create that emotional connection. We have great conversations. Remember, the best way to start an emotional connection with a person is actually to have background history, and not having shared background history is the best way to start an emotional connection. Let's say, for instance, both of you come from single mother homes. Y'all have something you can talk about. That's shared background in history, where you can have a chit chat, you can laugh, you can throw little jokes about, oh, did your mom do so and so? Well, I did that too. That's emotional connection. So having that, and then also realizing that the further you go up the ladder with a guy who has options, in which a lot of women want that guy who has those options, then you have to recognize that he sees and recognize feminine energy from a mile away. Realize men absolutely recognize energy because they've had to operate in that way in the first place. A lot of time, a man is not recognizing another man for aggression. They're recognizing for the actions or the movements or the gestures that that man makes. So men are used to that. They're used to looking at a person and recognizing the energy they're in. This is the reason why men that have options, the further they go up that ladder, baby girl, they recognize feminine energy. They recognize if you're actually operating in feminine energy, or if you're just a pretender. You want to pretend to be feminine to catch him. Because these are the type of guys that I'm like, hey, that's the one you need to talk to. Of course, the average guys, yeah, you can talk to him too. That's what you desire. But most women want the top dog. And since they want the top dog, you need to operate in a different way. Just withholding sex is not enough. It's not enough. You have to realize in the times that we're currently living in that withholding sex is not enough anymore. You need to have more in your toolbox. You need to be able to, you can't just sit here and say, well, I'm just going to be this way in front of him. Sis, you're on all the time. This is the reason why feminine energy is not a uniform. You cannot take it on and off because you're on all the time. You never know who's watching. You never know what top dog is watching you, watching how you move and how you operate within these circles. And if you decide, well, I'm only going to operate as feminine when I'm around someone because his pockets are fat, believe me, there may be a top dog that's watching you and say, okay, she only act like this when a person has money around her. She doesn't act like this. This is not her normal. This is not her natural. This is not something she falls naturally into that role. It's just an act. Believe me, men see through acts a lot faster than women do. They see snakes a lot faster than women do because women are nurturing and they want to be friends and they love relationships. So since they value relationships, a lot of times they don't see the snake among them or see the snake in the grass. And this is the reason why you need to make sure you're not just putting on that uniform, because femininity is not about the uniform. It should be essentially you. It should be your natural residence. It should be natural who you are and who you move around in that energy, regardless if you're in front of a person who has a lot of money or in front of a person who's broke. A naturally feminine woman, she treats a CEO great just like she treats a janitor great. I'm not saying she marries them now. I am saying she treats them wonderfully. People pay attention to that. Men pay attention to that. That's why it's important. So if you are just thinking you're going to be able to catch a good one, catch a man with the options, and only thing you're coming is trying to hold them to the milk and keeping those cookies fresh, go on by, sis. Go on by. Go on by. Because you need more than that. You need more than that. Those times have passed. They're long gone where you can just hold on to sex and you're going to catch you a good one. You need to do more than that. So we're going to pause here for a second. And let's see what everybody's saying. And then we're going to move on. All right. A well-needed talk. Hello, everyone. Hello. Pedestal wife on YouTube. I had a horrible dream last night. I slept with the man I used to know. I felt used, empty, and sick afterwards. I was crying. He hadn't done anything for me. I realized my only way out was to wake up. See, why are you doing the most today? But I need that laugh. I need that laugh. I'm tired. Yeah. Law of social exchange. Remember, you need to keep that in the back of your mind because it's super important. High value people operate on the law of social exchange, which means they don't get in any type of relationship unless there's some type of balance. This means you don't get in a relationship and just continue to be there and you're not giving anything within that relationship. This is one of the reasons why I talk about value all the time because it's important. You have to realize that value has to complement value. It is not necessarily tangible all the time. It's not necessarily something physical also. Sometimes it can be intangible, but it has to be valuable to the other person. A lot of us walk around with our heads up high, which we should in the first place, and thinking we have all of this value, but we haven't actually evaluated our value. We haven't sat back and see, okay, is this really something of value? Or is it just something I have made of value to make myself feel good? So you need to always check yourself. Remember, over here, we all about accountability. We all about checking ourselves first. So if you thought about what do you bring to a relationship that's of value, are you checking things off that really is not of value to another person but you? Have you checked that? Have you looked at that? Have you looked to see what you bring over in a relationship of value? And make sure it's something of value to you and another person versus having something of value that's just of value to you. Have you thought about that? If you haven't, I challenge you to think about that because law of social exchange is very important. This is where the top dogs that some of you want, those whales that some of you desire, they absolutely function on law of social exchange. The way you reject your man matters. God, it does. It does. It absolutely does. Some of you don't think about how you reject a man. Some of you are like, oh, he should just be able to accept. If I don't want him, I don't want him. Sis, okay, okay. Like I said before, it's never my job to persuade or get you to try to figure out, or I don't put it that responsibility on myself to try to persuade people that this is the right path to take. I just tell you my experience. I tell you and relay a lot of information that was given to me. And the information that was given to me has helped me to live the hypergamous life before it was a thing on social media. I've been married 20 years. We'll be married 21 in August. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for majority of it. Any of the time that I stepped outside of my relationship to actually work a job, which is so ghetto. Pedestal wife, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's so ghetto. It was by design because I desired one. Because my husband gave me options from the beginning. I could be a stay-at-home mother or I can go and work. It was never, oh, you got to go work because you got to go pay these bills, sis. Your 50 is needed. Never that. My husband isn't that type of man. And a lot of the things that I learned, I come up online and I talk about it. I relay the information that the elders before me gave me, which is what women are supposed to do that are older. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 in like a month and a half, I think, maybe a month. I don't know. Maybe a month and a half, I'll be 41 years old. And that is my duty as an older woman to relay that information. I'm doing what was done for me that helped me to have a happy marriage. It gave and poured so much into me, and I'm so happy that I was willing to listen. I was willing to sit at the legs of an older women, and get the game. And I'm giving it to you on these lives for free. Okay, I've already answered that question. What's the quickest way to assess if the value we bring to valuable to the other party? I've already answered that question. Do you think it's a bad idea telling men that you're not having sex into marriage upfront? Is there ever a time where this is appropriate? I think it is. Now, why do I think it is? Why do I think it's okay for you to tell a man upfront in certain instances? That is, if you're part of a church community and you all are both in that, if you're both a part of church. You're both not just a part of it, you're invested in it, you're applying the things of whatever religion you're a part of, then that will be okay. But when you come out here into the real dating arena and you go and tell a man that you set up on a date and said, I'm never having sex until marriage, you can watch even the good ones run away. That's where you need to keep your milk and keep the cookies really tight in that jar because he's going to run. Okay. Like I said, that owns bargaining sex for marriage only works in certain things. And that is if the culture is, hey, I'm going to give you a dowry for your daughter kind of thing, or it's a certain community, or it's church where y'all are really in depth in church. I mean, not just showing up on Sunday when you all know you don't read the Bible, you don't understand the Bible, you ain't never even seen, you don't even really know what it looks like because you ain't never touched one. Okay, we're not talking about for that individual. We're talking about for two individuals that are really invested in the application of their religion. Then it will be appropriate. Okay, but if that is not happening, if none of these situations or instances are happening or experiences are happening, then no, you would not go and tell a man upfront that I'm not having sex until marriage. Okay, because like I said before, a man wants to be desired, he wants to be wanted, he wants those sparks. He wants, the thing is, I think what will help a lot of women to stop looking at men as though they don't want some of the same things that you do. And that will be helpful along the journey. Now, of course, we know that there's those oddballs that come up every once in a while of a man that they really are out here just doing whatever. But realize that there are more men who want what you want. They want that emotional connection. They want a woman that they have chemistry with. They want someone they can have intimacy with. They want someone that's going to be and have their back. They want all of that just like you do. Okay. So if we put the other thought behind, because really when it comes down to it, when you start getting on this journey and get to know yourself, you start eliminating those kind of guys anyway. They're not going to approach. So you don't even have any worry once you start doing the work on yourself. This is one of the reasons why I preach inner work so much, because I realize that once you have certain rules in your life and you start doing the work on you, that even the guys that don't mean any good, they're nothing but players, they're nothing but dogs, they'll start avoiding you. They'll start avoiding you. They'll start recognizing your standards are too high and they don't want any parts of that. Okay, so you don't have to sit and concern yourself about the other anymore, because you're only going to attract the ones who want what you want. Remember, they want what you want. They want the same companionship. They want someone they can have conversations with. They want someone they can spend time with. They want someone they can have great bomb sex with too. Okay, they want someone that they can have adventures with. They want someone that they can look back and say, "Sis, they want someone they can be looking back and say, hey, it's me and you against the world." That's what they want. They want that too. So take it away from thinking that men don't want what you want, because they do. They do. They do. They do. You start doing the work on yourself, you'll start eliminating the ones who want the other, who want to play in the mud and then you want to get dirty. You can start eliminating those ones. A Pest Wife on YouTube said, yes, y'all, get the Make Him Earn You course. Bro brings the heat. I try, because what I want to do is I really feel like that if you're going to make sure you hold on to the milk and you want to make sure those cookies stay in the jar, you want to make sure that you can have a bargaining tool of sex, and you want to exchange that for a ring or for marriage, for companionship, for conversations, for great bomb sex, for me, for us versus the world mentality. You better learn how to seduce, because he has to get to know you. He has to get to know you, but you don't want to turn him off. You don't want him to feel like you don't want him. That's super important for a man. You want to hit a man's ego, start rejecting him in the wrong way. You want to hit a man's ego, start turning him down for sex, married women. Married women, I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to you. Some of you married women need to get that course for the sex part, because of the fact that you all, not the sex part, the seduction part, because some of you all have not, you've turned your back on having some good with your husband. What they do it? Isn't part of getting married is knowing that you can have safe sex with the person that you are with, and knowing that he's not going to give your stuff away to anybody else. Isn't that the beautiful bonus part of marriage? Is knowing that you can have great sex, be yourself, and ride it on out to the end of days, having that last cup of water. Y'all know how I feel about that last cup of water, right? Isn't that the great part of marriage? So how dare some of you married women like, I don't want none. Y'all up here rejecting your man when you got free sex on tap. On tap. Like, okay. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop being like extra. We're gonna stop being extra. We're gonna calm down so we can get through all the questions. But y'all have it on tap. Y'all have it on tap and y'all are steady rejecting him. And you're slowly eroding his self-confidence. You're slowly eroding the bond and connection that you have between the two of you. But carry on. Y'all keep holding that milk. See, married women are doing it for another reason. They're trying to bargain the milk and the cookies for control and manipulation. But that's a whole nother conversation. I know I opened that door, but I open it another time. That's another video for another time. I'm dating a man and is passionate when he kisses girls. Yes. Now I'm trying to figure out, I'm just trying to figure out what has a kiss ever done. Like, yo, there's never be scared of a kiss, never be scared of a touch. Now, if you've actually said what you need to say and you put those rules in place and he's still trying to push against them, then yes, there's an issue there, because this means that he's into you, but he isn't willing to give you what you desire. And that is a red flag. If he continues to push and push and push and push and push for sex, on the very first date, and you've already put those rules up, look, this is not time yet, bro. You need to go sit down. You need to sit down. This is not it. Then yes, you got an issue. But I teach you how to do that and how to handle that and to make him earn your course. She said it's not taught by our mothers, and that's unfortunate. This is information that I shouldn't have to get on social media and talk about. This is information your mother is supposed to give you. She is supposed to know this game. She's supposed to relay it to you, and then you're supposed to relay it to your daughter, and your daughter's supposed to relay it to her daughter. That is the way it's always been. That's the reason why when you go online, you really don't see any good information. It's the same stuff over and over and over. Just a whole bunch of women telling you to hold on to the milk, because a man ain't even gonna buy the cow if he's getting the milk for free. Or if you give those cookies away, he's not gonna want anything else. Let me give you a secret. I'm gonna give you a pedestal wife secret. Let me give you a pedestal wife secret. Let me give you a secret. I don't know. Should I do it to him? Should I sit here and mind fuck you right now? I should. But then some parts of me say I shouldn't. I should keep this and move on to another video, because of the fact that if I sit here and let you realize that it's not the cookies, it's not the milk. You can give the milk and the cookies away to him, and you can still get the ring. Oh my God! Yes, you can. You can. Y'all just been doing it wrong the whole time. That's the reason why you can't do it. No, you can't do it, sis. Don't do it. Don't do it without instruction. That video's coming. Or maybe I shouldn't do that video. I think I might drop that video and have that conversation in my pedestal wife community. That's a video for them, because I'm not going to be up here encouraging women to have sex and be so free and loose, and whorish. That's not my page and not my community. But if you've already messed up and you've given the milk and you let that milk flow and you've opened that jar and gave the cookies out the jar, that is not the reason he didn't put a ring on it. That is not the reason why he didn't want anything further with you. There's other things that come into play. There's absolutely ways to flip the script and still get a ring, even after you've made that mistake. But that's not this conversation. This is not this video. So let's move on. What does fake femininity look like? It looks like women who are always sitting here talking about, oh, I'm only feminine if he's masculine. That is fake femininity. Fake femininity is operating within masculine energy, but looking feminine. But trying to trick somebody out of something by looking feminine. That is fake femininity. That is fake femininity. And people, not just people, most women, I think most women can, if you understand what femininity is, another woman can recognize that a woman is moving in fake femininity. Another woman can recognize, but she has to pay attention. You have to pay attention to body language, gestures, facial expressions. Those are super important because that is the energy you're putting out. That is how people judge you based off of how you moving, what you're not even before you even have a conversation, before you even say a word. Someone has judged you by the way you moved, how your facial expressions are being done. If you're smiling, if you're not smiling, if you're walking too fast, you're not walking fast. People make judgment calls by the energy you're putting out before you even say a word. And fake femininity is easier to spot. I feel like most of the women that I know operate in fake femininity are always talking about they can't be this until he is masculine. And the reason you don't realize that that doesn't make any sense because it's like you're wanting someone to overpower you or dominate you, which is not feminine. The energy behind that statement is not feminine, which is more important. The intent is important. The intent determines what energy it is, if it's masculine or feminine. So if you're saying, I need you to be more so I can be, just be, then that is masculine. This means you want someone to dominate you, you want someone to overpower you, and that's not feminine. A pastor wife said, is that true that most men are starved for attention so they go after sex because it's easier? Like it's a quick fix for what's really lacking. Didn't the survey say that men value respect over sex? Absolutely. They do value respect over sex. This is the reason why some men, and see, I'm not a this is not a page that really talks about I don't talk to men. A lot of my content is for women. It's for women to become the best versions of themselves so they can get what they desire. That's what the Pedals to Wife community is all about. It's about you. It's about you. It's about how and what you want out of life. But if you were to look behind the curtains and look at the research, a lot of men sleep around because they're trying to fulfill something inside themselves. It's a him problem. Him sleeping around or cheating on you has nothing to do with you, sis. It's all about him. Men go out here and show the world what they feel like they're worth. And if they go out here cheating and abusing their bodies and misusing their seeds, that's a reflection on them. That's how they feel about themselves. This is the reason why it's super important you realize that men are just like women. They're all looking and operating their own insecurities. They're all dating in that same manner also. So thank you, Pastor Wife, for bringing that up because that's super important for women to understand that women and men are searching for some of the same things. You're searching for the same things. All of us all, because it's human nature to want social connections. It's human nature to want to be around people. It's human nature to want people to love you. It's human nature for wanting people to be around you, that want to be around you, that want you and like you for you. That is human nature. So men who are out here just doing the most, instead of sitting here constantly like, oh, well, they're just dogs, they're just animals, they just want sex. Sis, have a little empathy and sympathy for them. Because all of the reason they're doing that is because they're seeking emotional connections. They're seeking emotional connections with another human being. They want a connection and don't even know how to get what they desire. They don't know the words. They don't know how to vet. They don't know how to be around the people who actually care about them. So they tend to just continue to be in relationships over and over, regardless if it's horrible or not. So I don't sit here and look at those men as if they're horrible, they're terrible. I look at them as though they're human. They're human, just like I look at the women who are doing the same thing, and I look at them that they're human. They're human. They're seeking connections. I'm not sure if I turned the right man away. He just asked me over to his house for a second date, and from there I disconnected. But I told him I only looking for a friendship, and he stopped pursuing. Yeah, it's the way you turned him down. It's the whole friendship thing. He thinks you're looking for friendship. Okay, that's the whole friendship thing. There's a better way to handle that. You could definitely like, no, you could have said, There's nothing wrong with if he says, okay, I want to have a date at your home. Like, well, you're not ready for that. Like, instead of sitting here putting it in a way where you're trying to condemn him or make him feel bad for trying to get sex and trying to get you at the house, because that's what men are trying to get. They're trying to get you in the bed. They want to get you in the bed. They want to have sex just like women do. Women want to have sex. Men want to have sex. Okay. So instead of that, you could have been like, seduction would have been your first way to handle that. That would have been the best way to handle that. Seduction would have been the best way to handle that instead of telling you want to be friends, because he felt like, oh, and what did he do? He gave up, right? So there's a possibility you may have turned away a good one, because there's a rule of thumb you need to keep in your forefront. The way it works, if you constantly reject a man, you reject him in the wrong way. The good ones are going to take you at your word, and they're gonna leave you alone. They're going to stop pursuit. The players, they're going to pursue. You know why they're going to pursue? It's because of the fact that they take it as a challenge. They realize that, oh, well, she said no. Let me see how long fast I can get her in bed. That is the way it works. That advice, baby, that has saved my bacon so many times when I was dating. And I was taught that by an older woman, because right here in today's dating arena, the way social media tells you that if he's not pushing for it constantly, then that if he's not pushing for it, he doesn't want you and all this kind of stuff. That's not the way it works. See, this is the reason why some of the information that you all have, that's the reason why I start talking about the milk and the cookies and all that stuff, because of the fact that some of you all actually truly believe if I just shut down shop, I make sure I dry out this milk. This milk ain't going out to nobody. These cookies gonna stay in the drawer. You feel like you're gonna get a ring. You're gonna be able to bargain sex for a ring. And I'm telling you now, I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you by having clients out here who are currently dating, that it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So you may have, but you didn't get a chance to really find out if he's one of the good ones. Because the way you rejected him, the way you just automatically put him in the friend zone, he realized it wasn't any reason of pursuit. Yes, men value respect over cookie jar. Brill, do you have a cash app? Y'all know, y'all gonna laugh at me since I'm older, and I grew up during a time where there was no technology. So no, I don't have a cash app. I don't have a cash app. Sorry. Like, I don't have a cash app. Like, I just learned what that was recently, and thankful I learned it from my sister, because we're 7 years, there's 7 year difference, and she taught me what cash app is, because I'm just used to ACHs, I'm used to ETFs and those type of things, so I didn't know anything about a cash app. So I know what they are, I just don't have one established. This is good. It's not enough anymore. You have to bring more. You have to bring more. It's important. Value complements value. Thank you, Bria. My mom has not taught me this, so I'm glad I know this now. You're welcome. You're welcome. You are right about that, married women. Absolutely. Y'all, let me go ahead and switch. I see a lot of comments on YouTube, but let me switch over to Instagram, because I've been ignoring my babies on Instagram. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Okay, so if I answered the question, I'm just going to skip over. Thank you so much for your time. Once you always evaluate their value, not just looking at what your man is bringing to the table. How we add value to repel toxic men. You will repel toxic men naturally. That's the thing about it. When you have certain rules about yourself and the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, the way you interact with people, you will automatically repel toxic men, because they will be like, well, I'm not going to try to meet those rules. I'm not going to try to follow through with those rules. So the thing is, if you are still having a load of toxic men constantly coming your way, you need to start doing the work on yourself first. You are the answer to your own problem. And that's not what's been talked about a lot out here. A lot of social media places, they always try to put the issue on the opposite sex for the reason why they constantly interact with toxic people, toxic men, and toxic women. But if you start to put rules in place and you start to present yourself a certain way, you will repel toxic people. Period. How can you show and add value? How can you show and add value? You can show and add value once you realize what value you bring. Realize you need to take the time. It's nothing more than taking a piece of paper and writing down the value that you feel like you bring to a relationship. And then you need to evaluate that value and see, hey, is this any good to somebody else or is it just good to me? And see, and then look at it from there. Men keeps talking, seeing me in 10 years with two babies. Is he friend zoning me? Men keeps talking, seeing me in 10 years with two babies. Is he friend zoning me? Okay, are you saying you're talking to a man for 10 years and you have two babies? Is that what that is? I just need some clarification. I think I pushed him away, but I was upset. They asked me to their house our second date. Okay, I answered that question on YouTube. And after he said no worries, I did what I want. Yeah, you might have, but then, yeah, you might have. It's more information, of course, than I can say yes or no. But I would say you may have. You may have. There is there's a way you need to reject. And I think I go over the rejection. I go over how to reject a man in a seductive way and make him earn you. I give that information and make him earn you. I may do a video of that. We'll see. We'll see. Because I got a lot of content that I need to get done that I'm behind on. My mom didn't teach me anything about dating. And see, that is sad. Your mother, your grandmother, an elder woman, an auntie, a cousin, some woman did not do her due diligence because she is supposed to pass you down the game. She is supposed to make sure you're aware how men move, how men operate, so that you can use that information to your betterment, so that you can use the information to make sure you have and get that ring, get that marriage certificate if that's what you desire. If that's what you desire, or if you just desire a relationship and you want a good one, you're tired of toxic relationship, you're tired of not getting what you desire in a relationship, then that is what an elder is supposed to do. She is supposed to give you that info. God told me that women usually adore him, but I don't, and you shouldn't. That is the opposite. That is a feminine man. That's an effeminate man. Effeminate man will be looking for a woman to adore him and to treat him like a woman. And if you're in your feminine energy, those two energies will repel each other. You're not going to have polarity. He's not even going to be attractive to you. This is the reason why it's important. And I talk about femininity so much because it is important, because once you get and you all let go of this, I'm only going to be feminine if he's masculine ideology and mindset, let go of that. The reason you should let go of that is because of the fact that polarity is important. If you're always in your feminine and you're keeping that energy up, even if a effeminate man gravitates towards you, you won't even be attracted to him. You won't even want anything with him other than friendship in the first place. He will be automatically friend zone because of the fact that energy ain't gonna operate for you. You're not gonna get deceived, deflected, or think it's love because he's attractive. If you're operating just the feminine energy, if you don't know anything else, and you know about feminine energy and femininity, and you're operating in it everywhere you are, that is your true place. That is your home. You absolutely thrive in that. So when you're around men, you're dating, right? This was happening. You're dating as a feminine woman. No matter what he does or what he says, you're still operating your feminine and feminine energy. You will not be attracted to him. You will not even want to continue that relationship just because of the fact the polarity is off. It won't feel good to you. You'll be like, oh, ooh, nasty. Feel bad, gotta go, push him away because that's an effeminate man. That's a friend. Okay? When you're operating 24/7 in your feminine and feminine energy, masculine man gets near you. Oh, crap. Heart starts beating faster. You're attracted. But hey, pull back now. Pull back. Because we already know over here, Pedestal Wife community, we absolutely realize that you have to use masculine energy enough to make sure you have rules and regulations, to make sure that you don't do anything silly by letting your hormones make a decision for you. But you'll be attracted to him because of the fact he's in his masculine, you're in your feminine, polarity, attraction, chemistry, sparkles. Like sparkles, I don't know. Whatever. Y'all know. You know what I'm trying to say. But that is the reason why, if you can at least do that piece, Just do that piece starting off. If this is your, you just first time you're hearing about it, or the first space time you've been in a space with someone who actually got some real information and not someone who's like not fully informed, and you're like, okay, let me try it. Go 24 hours, just operating solely in feminine energy, and realize how you feel when you're in the presence of men. Start listening to yourself, trusting yourself when you get in that presence of men, and determine, is he masculine or is he feminine? The feminine ones, you're going to automatically put them in a friend zone because you're operating feminine energy. It's not going to feel good to you. It's going to feel yucky. It's going to feel disgusting. You can be like, get over there, stay away. Masculine energy, you're like, oh my God, come here. But don't forget, this is the reason why I tell you ladies, never negate the masculine energy that you need to keep the rules in place. So you don't go bonkers once you get into a true masculine energy man. So you don't go bonkers being in his space. Because that's what happened to some women when they get around a truly masculine energy man space. They go bonkers, lose all their marbles, lose their milk, lose their cookies, lose every bit of their self-esteem and sanity. He said we are friends, but we do not talk now. Yeah, you lose some, you win some. Now you know better. You know better. This is my favorite video of yours because I do this. He is attractive, but I don't think he would want to talk with me. It probably seems as if I was playing games too early. No, ma'am. No. Like, he's attractive, but I don't think he would want to talk to me. I would leave it be. At this point, since y'all already had these interactions, I would leave it alone. Let it, like, there's other fish in the sea. Just leave it alone. And go ahead and leave it be. Because what I don't want to do is turn out marry a woman in my space, a woman chasing, proven man. I don't want you chasing men. I don't want you trying to prove yourself to men. I don't want you to sit here and get out of that feminine energy of being and y'all are doing and trying to prove and trying to make him see you. So we're going to leave it be. You're going to live your life. There's other fish in the sea. If you did this to a guy, how can you fix it? I wouldn't try. I wouldn't even try. I would move on to the next one. I met a man today whilst I was out who offered to pay for my spa day and said he would transfer the money in the next few hours. Okay, and what happened? Like, how you gonna sit here and leave partial of a story? I need the rest, sis. Where the rest of the tea? So what happened? Did you accept the transfer? Did he pay for the spa day? What happened? Like, I know all the rest of us are like, what happened? I don't know. She didn't. You stop writing. No, I have no kids. He said he can't wait to see me in 10 years with 2 kids. What? Okay, that sounds like a curse. And I would leave him be. I don't know the ins and outs of that relationship. I hate giving coaching information on live stream when I don't have all the information. But if he is talking about he can't, okay, that sounds like a curse. Did you reject him and he got upset about it and he told me he'll see you in 10 years with 2 kids? Then he's not worth you anyway. Like, you can just, you didn't lose anything of value there. Any man that's willing to, even if he get rejected in a way that he doesn't like, men that I talk about have class. They're not going to sit here and try to put a curse on you or try to curse you out or try to hurt you because you rejected him. So that's nothing lost there, because that sounds like a curse. He's now saying that he would rather give me the money when he takes me out on a date. I told him, like a man that keeps his word, a red flag. That is a red flag. Don't promise me nothing if you're not going to keep your word. One of the things about masculine men that I absolutely love is that they keep their word. When they say that they're going to do something, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's hot, if it's cold. It doesn't matter. They're going to follow through and make sure their word is real. Their word is their bond. So that is a red flag. If a man promises you something, because that sounds like words to me, right, pedestal wives? Don't it sound like pretty words? We don't do that over here. Pretty words is not a way to impress a pedestal wife. That's not the way this works. Yes, they don't teach us. They expect us to know when we mess up, it's all our fault. And see, that's not fair. That's not fair. Women are expected to teach. It is the inspection of a elder to teach other women that are, coming up the game, so they don't make they don't make as many mistakes, because you're going to make mistakes. It's human nature to mess up. It's human nature to make a mistake. We're never over here talking about it's got to be perfect. You got to make sure you have everything in alignment and stuff. I do recognize you're going to make a mistake, but you're going to make all kinds of mistakes when you ain't got no game. You're going to make all kinds of mistakes when you don't know how to seduce. You're going to make all kinds of mistakes when you don't realize that men desire emotional connection just like women do. You're going to make all kinds of mistakes when you realize that the things that you think that are valuable, of value in a relationship, is not of value to him. So would it be a waste of time? I think I've answered this. So would it be a waste of time to try to talk to him again since our friends on him? It was more of a misunderstanding, especially through text. It sounded like I reject him. Don't, don't do it. Don't do it. And the reason why I say leave it alone, because you have to actually watch not only the energy, the polarity in the relationship. If you want a man to earn you, there's certain things and certain steps that you need to take. There's certain things you need to make sure you don't get yourself in a position where you're trying to prove to him that you are the best fit for his life. If he wants to double back now and do a whole 360 and approach you again to ask you out, then yes, then you can accept and you can start over. But if he is not willing to double back and try you again, don't you go trying him. Don't you go calling him up saying, "Oh, I was wrong." No, sit down. I'm saving you heartache. Sit down, because even good men will take advantage of a woman who don't know the game. And let me go ahead and put it here. The reason why that's important, because I might do a video about rejection. The reason why this is important, because men don't take rejection like women do. It actually, if they're into you, let's say they're into you, and they're like, they're sitting around, imagine y'all together in bed, they're imagining a ring on your finger, they're imagining you having his babies, and then you reject him. That went straight to his heart. Women don't like rejection either, but they'll get over it. They'll get over it because they actually know that there's more fish in the sea. But men, if they're into you, that rejection hit hard. That rejection hit hard. And that's the reason why some of the good ones will say, "Well, she don't want me. I'm going to move on." Okay? I found myself in a pattern of getting me who are already in a relationship. How can I stop this? That is a mindset thing. You need to address your beliefs. You need to address your self-esteem and your self-worth. Because if you address those situations, you won't ever even admire. You won't ever even look at a person who's a man who's another woman's husband. You won't even admire another person who's in a relationship. You will always want your own. You will be selfish. You will be greedy. You will be entitled. You will be deserving. And you will be like, "Oh, I got to get my own. I like the way he's treating her, but I know there's somebody who can treat me similar or better." So I would say if you find yourself in a pattern of dating men who are already in relationships, you need to address you first. Address what you value, address your core beliefs, address your self-esteem, address your self-worth. Do the inner work. The inner work is what's going to help you. And you won't ever look at another woman's husband, another woman's man, or anything of that nature, because you will absolutely be like, I am entitled, I deserve to be spoiled. Until you get that mantra and that mindset, you're going to continue to date other people's man, other women's man. Sorry, I asked again. Didn't know if you see it. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. He said, it doesn't matter if he said it nicely, he still said it. Someone sends something nicely. So if someone calls you a B and they said it in a nice manner, is that acceptable? It doesn't matter what type of tone someone carries. Disrespect is disrespect. A curse is a curse. I need to take the course. It sounds like, yeah. The Kill the Insecurity course is also, now for some of us who are dealing with, if you're dealing with like that young lady where you're only attracted to men who are in relationships, you need to get in the Kill the Insecurity course. That will help you or get in alignment with your core beliefs, your self-esteem, and your self-worth, and build your self-esteem up, because you need to get in that course. Then if you're out here dating, you're in a dating arena, you don't know how to seduce, you don't have good conversational skills, you don't know what questions to ask, and you need to get in the Make Him Earn You course. And don't worry, the ladies who are married, eventually I will have a course coming out for you all. I keep pushing it back because I keep having things happen, and I keep getting overwhelmed with all the things that are going on in my real life, as far as like just being busy. I am a social person, which means I like to socialize, I like to go, I like to spend time, I like to have fun. So that is getting away with me wanting to finish this course out. So I've moved it back. It's not going to be the Resurrected Pedestal Wife. It's not going to drop August the 11th. It's going to probably drop at the end of August. I'll let you all know. So let me drop over here. I'm going to answer just one question, then I'll move back over to YouTube. And then he said he wasn't trying to have sex. It wasn't about that. Or he didn't see me in that way all since we just met. But why did he ask me over then? Okay, he's trying to cover himself. He's trying to cover himself. You took a hit of his ego. Okay, especially if he's feeling you. You took a hit of his ego. No man likes to be rejected or turned down. I did a big video about egos. I wish I could remember the title, y'all. I have done over 200 something plus videos on YouTube. I suggest you go to the page and you Google ego, and that should pull up those videos that I've done about a man's ego and how important it is that you learn these things that I'm talking about. It teaches you how what not to do to hurt his ego, because that's important. Okay. All right, so let's see what we have here on YouTube, and then I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up because we're 30 minutes over. I started late, so I decided to continue on past my normal time. Oh my God. Oh my God, have sex before marriage. Jesus help me. Woo, boy, that's a conversation that we definitely gonna have in our private Facebook group, Pedestal Wives. This is so true. You can feel the polarity if it's there. I can pick up on a feminine man real quick, instant turn off. It is. It is. And you be like, oh, that's my friend. That's my friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. When you get around a man who's putting off feminine energy, you be like, a feminine woman be like, that's my friend. That's my friend. That's my best friend. They don't be like y'all be some women who don't understand polarity and energy. They be like, oh, he's so nice. He's so sweet. Oh, I can see we can sit here and paint our fingernails together. Some of y'all don't understand. It's the energy, it's the polarity in a relationship that makes it keeps running, keeps it fueled. And if you don't have it, when you get married, you're gonna find yourself fighting for position. You're gonna be finding yourself fighting for that space. So I've had so much fun with you all. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for Pedestal Wives for building. Thank you for your support. I love you all so much. And it's time for lunch. Bye.